When you play the piano, are you struggling with your left hand? Maybe it feels stiff or disconnected or clunky, then I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 short exercises that in just 5 minutes a day, within a couple of weeks, you will be not struggling with this problem anymore. By the end of this video, you will have a clear and uncomplicated practice routine that you can do every day to make sure that this is not a problem. And before you know it, you'll be playing everything with a nice, smooth, connected left hand. Hi, my name's Rebecca and welcome to my music studio. I have a passion for teaching adult beginners who maybe this is your first time coming to the piano or you've been playing for a long time, but you're just struggling with certain things, especially improvising and making beautiful music every single time you sit down. This is the perfect place for you to start. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure that you like this video and let me know in the comments below what is one of the problems that you have, particularly with your left hand. Maybe it's a right hand problem. Let me know. I'm always gathering ideas for new videos. So come over to the piano. I'd love to show you exactly how to do this.
So first things first, let's talk about the key of G major. So as we know, the key of C major goes between C and C and has no black notes. So for the key of G major, you start on a G. I'll start here at this one. And there's only going to be one sharp. So the sharp is one note that is directly to the right of whatever note that we set. So the only note that we're going to have a sharp on is an F. So instead of playing an F, the note directly to the right of it is this black one, and that is F sharp. So when we're playing the G major scale, we're going to start on G, play all the notes up until we get to the F, skip the white F, play the F sharp, and then the G, and go back down. So we're always going to start with a scale whenever we start improvising. It teaches our ears and it teaches our hands which notes to play. Now, when you play the scale, you do not have to use the proper scale fingering, but you can if you want to. So for now, I'm just going to use one finger. So let's play the G major scale. Skip the F, play F sharp, and then come back down. Now that we know the key of G major, playing the white notes between G and G, but skipping that F and playing an F sharp, we now have a good framework for where our hand is going to be playing. We're going to be starting with our left hand today, but the first thing that I want you to do to fix a clunky left hand is that is usually indicative of tension in the hand and tension in the fingers. I recently got a comment on one of my videos about how somebody was struggling to have loose fingers, and this is how I want you to start. Think of your fingers twofold. Number one, your fingers are automatically attached to your wrist. So we want our wrist to be able to move freely up and down, kind of dancing on the keys. So when I first have beginners sit down at the piano, I just want you to lay your fingers down at the piano on any notes at all. And we're going to be just thinking of lifting our hands and then dropping them down. Lifting our hands and dropping them down. So you're going to do this a couple of times where your wrist leads up and you're falling down. Now, when you're ready, using your 2 finger, which is this one, we're going to be having our finger come down on the G. Okay, so this time, I want you to start with your wrist, come up, and come down very quickly with your 2 finger. Try that a few times. So all of the other fingers are nice and relaxed, and you are just with the tip of your finger hitting the G over and over again. If you find yourself struggling where you have tension in these other fingers and they feel stiff when you come down and up, you'll feel that when you release off of the keys. So this time I'm going to do it with stiff fingers. When I come up, my fingers haven't moved, have they? They're in this crazy position. So give it a shake. And now nice and relaxed, we're just hitting the note over and over again. So once you've worked on that, where you have a nice relaxed fingers, we're going to now put this in a steady beat. And the way we're going to do that is using the metronome. Now, don't be afraid of the metronome. The metronome is a fantastic tool that's going to help you. So I have a metronome on my piano, but there are also lots of free metronome apps. And we're going to now put the metronome on for 60 beats a minute. So that is basically a second hand of a clock. So really, if you don't have a metronome, you can't find one on your phone, you can also just use the ticking second hands of your clock. Every single time you hear that beat is when you're going to hit the G, okay? Like this. So you're establishing that inner beat. And now we're going to do every 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we're going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. So I want you to continue doing that for about 1 minute. And in that 1 minute time, you're establishing your beat and you're working on that nice movement of your wrist and your relaxed fingers. Now, after you've worked on just that one movement, we're now going to put hands together in an alternating fashion. I love to get beginners working alternating because it is going to help you establish that you are doing 2 different things with both hands. So we're still using that 2 finger on the G. And you're going to be lifting up each time. Now, you don't have to go very, very high when you're doing this. But that's what all of that our left hand is doing. Our right hand is going to be in a 5-finger pattern. So we're going to put our right hand on G, A, B, C, and D. And we're going to think in 4-4. So that means that 1 beat is going to be our G. And then 3 beats is going to be any of those other 3 notes. We're going to do this a few times. Let's give it a try. Done that, so it's basically quarter notes, which is 1 beat each in your right hand. You can now vary the rhythm, so it's not always the same thing. So we're still holding down our G for 4 beats, but then your right hand kind of can do any rhythm that it wants. So it can sound something like this. And then try it hands together. Now 1 finger is not very hard, so we're going to just do the next thing, which is 2 fingers. So this time, let's go ahead and put our 5-finger pattern in our left hand, starting with our 5-finger, our pinky, on G. So we're going to have G, A, B, C, and D. And this time, we're going to play our 5th finger, which is our G, and our 1st finger, which is D. And try playing those together. And this is the same relaxed pattern where we're leading with our wrist and having nice, smooth, and relaxed fingers. So try that a few times. And now it's time for the metronome. So we're going to start the same way where we put our metronome at 60 beats a minute, or the second hand of your clock, and we're going to do every single beat. Make sure you are nice and relaxed. And now 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we'll try 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to alternate them. So let's do 1 beat of G, rest, and then 1 beat of D. So it'll sound like this. 1, rest, 1, rest. And now let's do every single one. Now, the minute we start alternating, we can sometimes feel tension start in our fingers again. So if you feel your wrist seizing up or your other fingers look very stiff like this, you can feel those muscles. That means that there's tension. So what I want you to think of is moving your wrist back and forth like you're going to open a doorknob. So when we open a doorknob, we are twisting our wrist this way or this way, depending on which way you're turning it. We're not moving the doorknob with just our fingers and our wrist standing still. Give that a try. Imagine there is a doorknob in front of you. I want you to just use your fingers to try to open that doorknob. Feel that tension. You can immediately feel all of those tendons, all those little muscles that are in there start working. And that is tension in your fingers. So now change it up and just open your doorknob that way where you're twisting your wrist. So this movement of going back and forth is how we keep the tension out of our fingers. But here is the important thing. I don't want your elbow flaring out to the left in order to put your thumb down. This is a mistake that a lot of beginners use, and I call those chicken wings. So when I see my students doing that, they're letting their chicken wing out to the side. So your elbow should always be down at your side in a 90-degree angle. And it is just the movement of the wrist that is opening and closing the doorknob to alternate back and forth between that G and that D. So with that, now let's go ahead and put our metronome on and try that alternating pattern without lifting our elbow and keeping everything nice and relaxed. So practice those things for about 1 minute. And now it is time to add our right hand as well. So we're going to start in the same place. This is middle C. I'm going to have my G and my D in my left hand, and I'm going to have a 5-finger position of G, A, B, C, and D in the right hand. Okay, so first we're going to start by alternating. We're going to do a G first, and then 3 notes, and then D. Alternate. And then once you've got that alternating, we're going to change up the rhythm over here, and we're going to be putting it all together. Here we go. If you are struggling with keeping that even, put your metronome on. It does not have to be on 60. You can make it go lower if you would like to. So as slowly as you need to go so that everything is connected. We've now mastered 2 fingers in our left hand, and this time we're going to add 3rd finger, and that is your middle finger, your number 3. So now we're going to have a G, a B, and a D. This is called a tonic chord because that first note is called the tonic of the scale, that G, and we are building a chord on top of that. So this is your first triad, and this time we're going to work on that same release with all 3 of those, where we have nice, relaxed fingers, leading with our wrist. Now this is something that a lot of beginners struggle with as well, is actually coordinating, hitting those 3 fingers down. And I will often see the number 2 finger and the number 4 finger sticking up like this. So if you are having this problem when you play and number 4 and number 2 are sticking up, that is indicative of the fact that you are not relaxed. So here's what I want you to do to fix that problem. Go ahead and make your chord, right? And now I want you to keep those 3 notes down, and we're going to simply relax 4 and 2 down onto the other 2 notes. Okay, so it might take you a little bit until you feel relaxed. Once you feel relaxed right there, you're going to release and try again. And try to replicate that feeling. If automatically those stick up again, then hold it down, relax again. Until you've got it, where you are able to do that over and over again. Now this actually seems silly, but it is pretty difficult if you've never played the piano before. And so I want you to just keep going over and over again until it becomes consistently that you are putting those 3 fingers down and the other 2 are relaxed. once you're consistently hitting that down relaxed, then we put the metronome on. Do not do that ahead of time because that will frustrate you and you will just be putting tension into your hand. Okay, so now let's do the same thing, only this time we're going to start by holding it down for 4 beats first before getting faster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now let's do it in 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now let's do it in 1. And at any point, if you're finding that tension come back, you're going too fast with your metronome. And that's okay. We have to work up to this speed. That is why metronome scares so many people off, because they feel like, oh, I can't do it. But if you start at a good speed, then you're going to be able to work up the speed. That's what metronomes are really great for, that and establishing an internal rhythm. Okay, so once you have done that, where you feel like you have got a nice relaxed hand, you're able to push down all 3 of those chords. We're now going to do the same thing, where we're alternating first and then putting it hands together. So the first time we will hit that G chord, and then in the right hand we play alternating. And once you've got it alternating, we're now going to put it together. Our 4th exercise is using 3 fingers again, but it is 3 different fingers. And this time we're going to be making an octave, which simply means that you're starting on a G with your 5 finger, and then you're going up to the next G with your 1 finger. So first of all, we're going to start there. We're going to start with just the 2 fingers. Now this also is something that I see a lot of tension with beginners. So if you're finding that these fingers are sticking up, or you are feeling it particularly across your hand or in your wrist, then there is tension there. So what we're going to do is I want you to try to hit the octave, and then when you pop back up, your hand is going to come into a neutral hand position. This is not neutral. This is spread apart. You can feel all of those tendons. They tend to stick out on my hand. That's how I know that there's tension there. So if you always work to getting your hand back to a neutral hand position, it's going to help you. And this might take a little bit of effort, where you have to consciously think, hand to neutral. Hit the octave, hand to neutral. Hit the octave again, hand to neutral. So after you have practiced this and you've got the neutral hand movement, and we're not coming up very high, like I'm going up higher than I normally would to play, only to show how it works exactly, but really you don't have to come up very high. To neutral, every single time. Then you are prepared to put your metronome on. So let's give this a try with a metronome. Let's start with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now on 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And now every single one. So you're going to practice this and then always evaluate, how is my wrist feeling? How's my hand feeling? And again, you are establishing that inner rhythm and you're working on tension. So then once you've got the octave, we're going to put 1 more finger down. So let's do the octave again. And your 2 fingers should be hovering right around a D. So we're going to put that down as well. Now we're going to do the same thing where we're hitting all 3 of them at the same time. And once you have practiced that, we're going to now alternate. Now this time for alternating, I want you to think as the neutral hand as your guide. So we start on the G, hit the D, and then we hit the G on top. And notice now my hands are a little bit smaller, And because I don't have those long fingers that tend to hover above the octave, I know some people have hands that are really large, and this span between your thumb and your pinky is really, really big. This will not be as much of a problem. But for somebody with smaller hands, I want you to think of that movement of your wrist going this way. So our wrists can move up and down this way, but they can also move side to side. So we are moving from our G to the D, and then your wrist is moving this way to the G. And we are moving our wrist back and forth. Now try to connect all of those tones and just work on that. Again, no fingers sticking up or any additional tension in your hand. And we're just going to go back and forth like that until you feel comfortable. Now, I'm going to actually move an octave down so that I can show you both hands. But this time, instead of doing an alternating hand pattern, we're going to automatically play hands together. But here's how we're going to do it. Every single note that we play in our right hand, we're playing a different note in the left hand. So it'll be like this. So once you've got that, where now your hands are genuinely doing completely different things, we now can change up the rhythm in our right hand. Do not go too fast at first, and again, be thinking connection, connection in your left hand.
I hope that you feel inspired and that you are ready to start working on that left hand so that playing with a clunky and stiff and tense left hand is not going to be a problem anymore. As soon as you start playing hands together, it's going to open up a whole new world for you for piano improvisation. If you're ready to start in the key of G major, check out this video where it has a great chord progression in the key of G so that you will soon be playing something absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to hear about your progress. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you'd like me to dive a little bit deeper into. I'd love to consider doing that. Keep practicing, and until then, I will see you in the next video.